Okay, so sorry for some technical issues. Right now, we are currently only streaming to our YouTube page, which is on Freethinkers Worldwide, which is the YouTube page. I had to create a new StreamYard link for this conversation because we had some audio issues before. So if I sent you the link in Facebook or YouTube, that's not the accurate one. You'll need to go onto our YouTube page, which is Freethinkers Worldwide, and you can catch the live stream over there. In a few minutes, Q will have the YouTube page live stream posted on our Facebook Freethinkers page with the StreamYard link if you want to join into the conversation. So a little bit tricky, I apologize. You can send me a text message if you want, and I can try to respond, and I can get you the StreamYard code as well. But I'm in Facebook jail until about midnight tonight. So unfortunately, I was unable to stream the recording tonight directly to Facebook of any of the profiles. So it's going to YouTube. You can engage in the comment section on YouTube. You can watch on YouTube. Or in a few minutes here, Q will have it up on the Freethinkers page and then possibly his personal page, and you can also engage that way as well as watch the conversation there too. But the StreamYard link was changed from the information posted to the Freethinkers page earlier today because we had some audio issues. So we'll obviously give it a few minutes for folks to kind of figure out what the heck is going on before we really start getting into our topic. But just some quick little rundown of what to expect tonight.
Hold on, Nikki.
Yes, sorry.
How do I send this over?
Should just be able to copy the link from the YouTube page and literally just paste it on a Freethinkers post on from YouTube to Facebook. Should be able just to post it there.
All right, let me figure it out.
And then for folks who are looking at it on the Freethinkers page, you can go over to our YouTube page, you can subscribe, and you can type into the comments there. There's a live chat. You can type into that as well. And that will also pull the comments on our, that'll pull the comments onto our screen so we can see what the comments are there. My thought is that since it's being shared from YouTube, if you comment in Facebook, who commented might not show up, but the comment that you post should show up. However, if you want to get involved in the conversation, you'll have to get that new StreamYard link. Q, will you be able to copy that and paste that too? I sent it in our DMs, so it should be the newest one to get into the conversation live, as opposed to watching. And I see we're live on Facebook, or we're live on YouTube. So any luck getting it to Facebook yet?
Facebook. I think should be doing it right now.
Okay, we've got one viewer, so somebody's watching from somewhere. So shout out to our viewer who is checking us out. We sure appreciate the love. Join the conversation if you're interested in talking with us tonight. Obviously, otherwise, you can certainly support us by way of watching wherever you are watching from. And just bear with me, please. I'm looking down for a few seconds while I just try to make sure we are where we're supposed to be right now. Again, I apologize for the little bit of the difficulties today. I will be out of jail at midnight, and I'm going to watch my mouth so that I don't keep going to a fast walk down. Because that's exactly what happens. They make it very difficult for you to communicate with people when you are in Facebook jail. They block every stream that you can possibly get into to show active status on Facebook. So it's some bullshit if you ask my opinion. But I'm in jail.
Okay. We live on Facebook now.
Okay, and my Wi-Fi just kicked in, so I see us on Freethinkers. Did you post the new StreamYard link? So if anybody wants it. Okay, cool. All right, so go to the Freethinkers page. If you are like, how the hell do I get in tonight? Go to the Freethinkers page. There's the video posted. Q posted the new StreamYard link, literally just made in the last 15 minutes, not the one that was posted earlier today. That link had an issue. So use the new link, and we'll obviously give some time. Feel free to jump in. You know, if it takes you a few minutes to figure out how the hell to get in here, that is totally fine. Jump in a little bit. That's okay. Apologize for the technical difficulties. So we got a good conversation coming up tonight. What is Free Thinkers? We do this every Tuesday night. Today is Tuesday, November, what is it, the 16th already? Holy crap. Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. Free Thinkers, we do this every Tuesday night from 8:05 till 9:30, 10 o'clock, sometimes later, just kind of depends. We are an open group of self-proclaimed free-thinking individuals who are comfortable with, a dialogue that can be honest and brutal and raw and confrontational, but respectful and educational at the same time. Free thinkers is something that we have been doing for many, many years. We love this. We appreciate everybody who has supported us and who continues to support us. Please continue supporting us. We absolutely cannot do this without support. So very much appreciate the feedback that we get from people who watch us every week. If you are interested in getting involved with tonight's live conversation, go over to the Free Thinkers page on Facebook or go over to our YouTube page, which is Free Thinkers Worldwide, and you can engage that way, be it watching live, commenting live, or joining into the conversation live. You can join every Tuesday, some Tuesdays, one Tuesday every once in a blue moon. We just ask that you do try to jump in at the beginning of the conversation versus middle or end, just, so that you know what we're talking about. We don't have to catch you up. Earbuds definitely help keep some of the crackling noise down, keep your background noise down, TVs, radios, keep your speakers turned down. Obviously, if you're listening to yourself, that never works when you're on something live. There will always be feedback. What to expect? An open conversation, questions, thoughts. Hell, we don't have the answers to everything. We ask a lot of questions. We don't know, but this is just us being open and honest and raw and vulnerable and talking about things that a lot of people don't want to talk about or are afraid to talk about, won't talk about. We do. Language warning, of course, if you have children, it's totally up to you if you want your kids to hear or not. We do talk about adult content, be it language, be it sex, be it whatever. So totally up to you if you want your kids to watch this. Mine do, because they're my kids. So this is not uncommon conversations for us, but it's not for everybody. And with that being said, this is a live show. So we understand some people are a little bit reluctant to do a live engagement. So feel free to share the page. Feel free to love the page. Feel free to engage in the comment section. You don't have to come on live, but we love to get, live conversation going on in here. Tonight's topic, we kind of left it a little bit open, but Q and I did have a few things that we saw on the page that we were like, yeah, this could be interesting. Seems like we're going to do a bit more of the relational stuff tonight, just the dynamics of men and women and dating. And we'll talk about some of the side chick stuff that we've seen lately, in social media with,
chick stuff.
Yeah, side chick versus main chick, what qualifies. I'm so fucking sick. I'm so sick of the side chick, side piece, the side everything.
It gotta be.
Why does there doesn't have to be a side. And if you're gonna have multiple partners, just be honest, right? Like, I literally told somebody recently, and this is so cliche, if you are from my era, you know this phrase, you ain't got to lie to kick it. And so many people just lie. So we're going to talk about some, relationship dynamics, men and women dating scenarios. Hopefully we'll get some feedback from some additional men and some additional women, because we do like to get perspectives from everybody and take everybody's perspective into account and not just be our own. That's not how we learn. You had the image up of the dating being a challenge for men because of, X, Y, Z scenarios.
That speaks to the side chick thing a lot.
But meaning how? Why do you say that?
That's a result of so many people chasing after the same top 10%.
But is it really the top 10% though?
What you perceive, yeah.
Like one of my girlfriends, literally just before showing on, she said one of her homeboys had hit her up recently. We just went to a show Saturday night, so we posted some cute pictures, right? So one of her dudes that she knows, somebody just platonic friendship had hit her up, and he's like, "What's up with with the white girl? She's single, woo woo woo, da 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 da."
So
she was like, yeah. that's not that's not gonna work. And he was like, why can't you hook us up? You know, like I'm a good dude, I'm single, like, you know, why won't you introduce us? And she was like, because I know her. She was like, you're not gonna fit the bill. And I was like, hold on, what do you mean he's not gonna fit the bill? She was like, one, he's short. And it made me think about your image immediately, because I think that was one of the things on there, right, was height.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I make 6 figures. He was like, it don't matter. And she was like, she don't care if you make 6 figures. Like, what you make is, it's a bonus, right, to the situation, to what you bring to the table. But you making 6 figures is not going to negate the fact that you might not be the height that I'm attracted to, or the appearance that I'm attracted to, or the energy that I'm attracted to. And so I started scrolling through his page, and like one of his profile pictures has I got the COVID vaccine like banner on it, and I'm like, nope. And then another one of his pictures, he had the All Lives Matter mask on. I was like, fuck no. I was like, she's like, I told him. So I think that the 10%, like, I feel like it's fair to say that that's different for every woman. We all don't want the same thing. So
yes, you do.
No, we don't.
And stop trying to use yourself as the example if you are the exception to the rule in some instances, and others you may not be.
Right.
But all you got to do is just listen.
What do you mean?
Listen to what your homegirls say. Listen to what your co-workers say. Listen to what women around you say. Listen to what all the women say talking to Kevin Samuels. It's the same thing over and over.
That's almost unfair though, because that's like saying that we all have like this monolithic.
You do.
Mind? No, we don't.
Yes, you do. And it's not because of you. It's because of the image that society paints as success. And women are very vain in that way. Most women are mindful of how other people, men and women, perceive them and perceive their relationships.
Most women are mindful of the way that other people perceive their relationships.
Right.
So the feeling is that you think more women than not are concerned with what other people think about their relationship?
Absolutely.
Okay. Give me an example. Why do you think that more women are concerned with that?
Like here's an example of perception, and I talked about this, I don't know, maybe on another show. Mm-hmm. There was some type of post or some type of I can't remember if it was an interview or something. The woman was like, yeah, he had to make this amount of money, and he has to work a corporate job, and he had that's image right there. So the person stopped him. I can't remember who it was. It's like, well, what if he was a garbage man, or what if he was a construction worker? Construction workers make a lot of money.
And so do garbage men. Shit.
Yes, I know garbage men.
They both make decent money.
That's what I'm saying. So but you wouldn't talk to them, even though they may make the same amount or maybe more than the corporate guy that you're talking about. But it's the perception.
I totally would.
And I think that a lot of because of the perception.
So that makes sense to me, and I totally get where you're coming from on that. But I also feel like as a woman, there are so many more of us that would very much be open and willing to, for some women, all they want is a man who has a legal occupation, right? Some women don't care about that. Some women are cool with men who don't have a legal occupation. But a lot of women, especially the older you get, when you realize you're picking and you're choosing, certainly has to have some fine tuning to it, or some flexibility to it.
So Nikki, hold on, Nikki. You're in jail right now, but I just got done doing the 30 on the thread, and that was my number one disclaimer. This chart has the
did you do it today?
Yes.
Damn, I missed that completely.
Yeah, you'll see it once you get back in.
Right.
But that was the first thing I said. It's not that people now are saying, oh, this chart isn't true. It's not true. And I was like, no. For certain age groups, this was absolutely true. For about 17 to 28, this is what it looked like. And then once priorities change, and once that clock hit and you start seeing your friends and they've already have established families and they have children, and now you start thinking about those things that you want, and you also realize, if I want these things, I'm on the clock too. So now when you're on the clock, now the same criteria that you had starts to change a little bit. Maybe he don't got to be 6'2". Maybe he just be 6 foot. Maybe he don't have to. At a certain age, you needed that 6-pack at one point in time. Now at this age, ain't nobody got 6-packs. I could deal with it. I don't have to do. He don't have to have a luxury car as long as he got like a Toyota.
A car, right. Just a car.
he can have a Camry and we'd be all right. He don't have to be rich. He just have to be
Do you think that we're more superficial when we're young? Because I think those are superficial things.
Yes.
Do you think that we're more superficial when we're young versus when we're older?
Yes, supply and demand. So? Supply and demand.
Like I saw you say that in the post. Okay.
17 to 25, you are at the top of the totem pole. Every man, young, your age, and older than you, all want you. All of them. All of them. Want you. You start hitting 28, 30. Number one, your priorities change. And number two, you ain't at the top of the podium. When you was 25, the guys 35 wanted to talk to you. Now, when you 30, 32, the guys who 35, they still looking at the 25-year-olds, and it'll only take a couple of times. Like, hold on, they looking past me. What's up? Things start to change.
So, would you consider that somebody settling, or would you consider that just your parameters changing because they need to?
Both. Okay. Some people settle, which you shouldn't. Some people parameters change, and it depends on the parameters. Like I said, anything that you do, you need to understand why you're doing it. So even if you have a criteria, you have a preference, ask yourself why. If like I have, thin girls wouldn't really be my thing. I like them thicker. So then I have to ask myself why. When I'm having sex, I like extra meat.
Right. I mean, yeah.
And when if I don't feel it, then it takes away from my experience. And to some degree, sex is important to me. So
no, to all degrees, shit. Fuck some degree. But let's keep it all the way 100.
My point is, well, it's not everything though.
No, it's not. But it has to be good with whoever you're gonna be having it with.
Right. And thank you. So it has to be good, and someone who don't have the size that I like takes away from that experience for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
So anyway, my whole point is that's my why. You need to have a why as to, as for you, if you want a tall man, there's something. Maybe when you hug them, then you it's something that you be up on their chest when you hug them. That I don't, whatever it is, but and it need to be a good why, but it definitely needs to be a why there. Just like the whole corporate job type of thing. What's the why behind that?
So you think that the majority of women have desire the 10% men, which is the, certain job, certain income bracket, certain height. What else? What else does he have to have? What puts him in that category where he's the one that the women are looking for over all the average men, average men that was on that list?
Those are the top things. Even though they're not, those are the top visible things. You're talking about attractive, tall, have a nice body. Those are things that someone else can admire about you and your man from a distance. And that's what people want. A lot of men want that too. That's what they call it. That's where the term trophy wife comes in.
Trophy wife.
They want other people to admire their woman from a distance. See, you're not gonna get a chance to know about their personality and how well they treat you at home, but if you, because it speaks to you as well. It's like, man, how he pulled that? What is it about him?
So I just feel like I don't know. I feel like that's hella superficial. Like, and we talked about this, I don't know, a month or so ago on the show about wanting somebody that, other people want, not necessarily like want them, but find them attractive or look at them like, damn, how she get that or how he get that or. And, you know, after you said that, I was like, no, I was like, I don't want nobody to want my fucking man. And, you know,
yes, you do.
But I don't think about that. Like, I never think about, you know, if I'm out somewhere with a man, like, I don't think about, like, if other women are looking at him or if other women are, you know, envious of the fact that I'm with him, or if other women are, or men for that matter, are looking at him like, you know, how'd he or how'd she? I don't think about that. Like, and I'm like, is there something wrong with me that I don't think about that? But I don't give a shit if, like, the next person, I don't need the next person to validate or quantify, like, who I'm with, as long as I'm cool with that person.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if you're qualified to say that. Have you ever been with an ugly, unattractive man that nobody wanted?
No, well, no, but what's attractive? But what's attractive? No, but what's attractive to me is not attractive to everybody. There's women out there who could say that, like, my ex is not attractive, or there's women out there who could say. I mean, but no,
you know when you have somebody attractive.
I know what works for me. I know that the men are attractive to me.
No, you know that, but you also know when your man is attractive to the rest of society also.
But I don't know. I also don't go for, like, the gorgeous man. I don't go for the chiseled man. I don't go for, like, this.
Yeah. So there's levels in between, but
I don't go for that type of dude. You know, I don't give a shit about the fucking car and
it don't matter if you go for it. It's the difference if you don't have it, though.
It's the difference if you don't have it. Yeah, I can see that. If you had
an ugly man that nobody else wanted.
I mean,
I've been in relationships. I've been with nice looking people. And people, oh yeah, they cute, they nice. And then I've been with other people like, oh, like, I know you want my girl. I know. Somebody said that to me. I'm like, yeah, I said everybody want my girl. So what? I'm used to that now. Right. But it's a difference. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe it's a men's thing. Maybe it's like maybe men think more about wanting to have a woman that other people find attractive, and maybe women do too. And just because I don't feel like that, I can't identify with that. But, like,
so you would be okay if you had a man and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna go out to the club. I'm gonna go out." And you were like, "Oh, don't nobody want you no way. Go ahead."
I mean,
like, you don't even have to remotely.
You didn't want to try.
Ain't nobody gonna try.
You ugly. I also don't think that you got to be physically attractive to me. And that doesn't mean that you got to be, like, physically attractive to all women, because I generally like men that most of my girlfriends don't pick. Like, and it's funny because me and my girlfriends, we can all go out and we all like different type of men. Like, one of my girls likes this certain type of dude, and I like this, you know. So it's always been interesting in some circles how we ain't never stepped on each other's toes because we don't find the same type of men attractive. So he may be attractive to me, and my girls be like, "This motherfucker ugly." Like,
so that wouldn't force you to question yourself. I mean, if you and your girls got different tastes, that's one thing. But nobody likes your man. Nobody thinks your man is attractive. Nobody sees a picture and be like, "Oh, he cute." Like, you don't get none of that.
If they do, it's never been told to me.
Bless his heart.
But again, I also, and I said this last time, I wish one of my girls would be like, you know, because I was with my kid's dad for so fucking long. Like, I don't have a lot of dating experience, right? But, like, I was with my kid's dad for a long time, and for me, that's a very attractive man. I wouldn't have been with him for as long as I was if he didn't work for me all the time, right? But I never in 16 years had one of my homegirls be like, "Girl, you know, he is so good looking, or he is fine, or he is this." No, to me, that's disrespectful. Like, you no longer finna be my homegirl like that if you telling me how my man looks. Like, you can think that in your head, but don't let that come out your mouth. Like, that's disrespectful to me. And I don't know, Do men talk about their women like that? Would a man tell another man like, man, your baby mama fine, or your wife look good, or your chick is she looking good to me? Like that would piss me off. I would have a problem with that if somebody close to me like that complimented my partner. Like, on the flip side, I don't give a shit if you think he is ugly or not, but like, I don't know. Maybe I have a hard time with the whole 10% thing because I don't think I date the 10%. I don't think.
Step away from yourself for a second.
I know, I'm
When you were
trying.
in high school, did you notice a lot of women flocking towards the same? And these are the ones I put, the star athletes, star basketball, football players, the dope boys, the pretty boys, and the ones who had already graduated and like were grown in college. That's the 10% right there. Did you notice that that the women were targeting the same guys, the same 15, 20, 30 guys?
Sure.
And it's like 500 people in
Sure.
the school.
But I never liked those same dudes. Like,
it don't matter if you.
I know. But like, so again, for me, it's hard to almost see that because I was like, I didn't care about the dudes that everybody else, and I usually don't want the man everybody else wants because he already knows all these chicks want him, and that automatically, for most men, that automatically turns into some type of ego, some type of complex, some type of, I can get any chick I want to, I can treat women the way I want to. They're going to bow down for me. They're going to do what I ask them to do because I'm the star athlete, because I'm, the rich kid at school who comes from rich parents, because I got the fancy car. Like, I don't know, maybe I've just always been a fan of the underdog way too fucking long that, like, the one time I dated an athlete, I was the only girl at school that he dealt with. Like he didn't fuck with girls at school. Like he didn't. And it wasn't like he was off limits. He saw through that same shit that you see through with all the girls wanting the same guy. Like he saw through that all the girls want the basketball player, all the girls want the football player, all the girls want, the star athlete. So the one athlete that I did date in high school, ironically, was also the first time that I was ever, banned from seeing somebody because I was white and he was black, and his family didn't want him dating a white girl. But that's the only time that I really dated anybody in high school. Honestly, I mean, there was a few little flings here and there, but I never went for the dude that all the girls wanted.
That's not half of them. A lot of them end up getting in fights. It was about a boy, and they like the same dude.
Well, then today, 25 years after high school, I hear the stories now of all the circles of girls who slept with the circles of boys, who slept with the circles of girls. And I'm just like, oh my God, they've all gotten with each other. And so I feel as though I may not have always made the best decision in the men that I have chosen to be in my life. I feel as though they're not always the 10%. Like they may be my 10%, but they're not society's 10%. Now that doesn't mean the average guy, like, women should just drop their wants and, run for, I don't know, what is average? What is considered an average guy? Because it never said, it didn't give any specifiers on what's the average guy.
The guys that's not 6'2", 6'3". That's not the basketball star or the football star. The one that wasn't the dope boy or the pretty boy.
So the regular, like a regular man, a regular guy?
Yes.
But why is he considered average as opposed to just an available man or a dateable man? No, well, or just a man?
Well, the problem is somehow average has become a dirty word.
Right. Like
there's something wrong with being average. And that's why I said the benefit that I had is that early on in life, I was able to self-reflect and I knew what I was and what I had. I knew I was average early. And it's okay.
You know,
So
as
let's
you
go to
as
like,
you say that, I'm like, are you sure you want to say you're average? Like, you're right. Maybe
yes,
there
you
is
need
something wrong
to
with the
listen.
words average.
Attractive. I look decent. Ain't nothing super special about me. Tall?
No,
Nope,
but
not
you're a
tall.
good-looking man. You're not. You're
I
not you're
know,
not
but
an unattractive
there. I
man.
didn't
You
say
know.
unattractive, but there's
Well,
a
I
lot of decent looking
know.
people. Tall? I'm not tall. I'm average. I'm tall enough to be an inch or two taller than the average woman. Average.
Okay.
Rich? I'm
Okay.
not rich. I make
Okay.
average money.
I
Luxury. I don't have a luxury car.
got an
Average to
average
everyday.
ride.
And even back then, all of those same things. But I didn't have any crazy body. I mean, I had a nice, decent body, but I looked the same way everybody else looked. It wasn't nothing
Right.
special. I ain't have muscles coming out of my neck and stuff like that. Nothing special.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
There's not. There's not. You're right. You're right. You're right. Because we can't all be.
But you're not being fair either, Quentin. You're calling yourself average, but that is not how you seen yourself in high school, and that is not how people see you. So you don't even
That's
really
incorrect,
understand what it means
Ivory.
to be average.
No.
You don't. He
No.
didn't see
What was
himself
your
like that,
nickname?
Ivory.
Wait. Nikki, ask Quentin what his nickname was in high school.
That's just my initials. It's
What
too
was
big.
it,
What
You're
did
Q?
girls,
You're
what did
sideways.
girls call you?
Let me clarify something first. Okay. Nikki, are you listening?
I am.
So Ivory did not make it to high school. By the time Ivory was a freshman, I was like a junior or senior. I was like in my senior years.
Mm-hmm.
So I had developed the little swagger by then. But she didn't know me in my freshman, sophomore years. That was different. It took me a while to, after time, I kind of understood what I had. But I wasn't, I didn't view myself as anything special. Now, once I got to my senior year, I start
Are you
smelling
going to
myself a
answer the
little
question
bit.
though?
Because they
What was the
still don't know
question?
what your nickname was in high school.
It was just QT.
What
QT.
did girls call you?
QT.
Cutie, cutie,
Cute.
cutie.
Don't matter. My initials.
Better
They
words.
called you cute.
My initials are QT. Quentin Tice. QT.
But it works,
None of
cutie.
this.
See, Ivory, and this is what Ivory don't understand also. Ivory came in freshman, sophomore. By then, you already got kind of a leg up when girls see you, they freshman, sophomore, and you're upperclassman. When I was a lower classman, wasn't nobody looking for you then. Because you know what, the other girls that was freshman, sophomore, they liked the juniors and seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Only way I had to go down to junior high if I was gonna get some.
We're not gonna do that. We weren't gonna do that.
Well, I mean, when you was 14, they was 13.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Ninth grade, eighth grade. Right.
A year ago,
we was on the same building.
school. Yeah.
True. I don't know. Maybe I really feel like now I have to think about this whole average word, because average is not wrong. You're right. And I've never thought I was a 10% type of chick, ever. I've never felt like I was the type of woman or even girl back in the day that most men wanted. Like most boys, most men wanted, the certain type of girl. And I was tall, I was lanky, I was, fucking thin in the wind. I'm loud. I've always been loud. I've always been this way. This is just the older version of me. And that was never something that was desired, to be completely honest. I got picked over by lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. So I just always became comfortable with this plain Jane, just this is what it is, So I don't know why it feels so weird when you say average man. I don't know, because I'm a super average woman, externally.
That's super average.
I think so. Externally. Now you get into this internally, ain't nothing average about me, goddammit. It's all kind of extraness.
I feel the same way.
Yeah, right. About me or about you?
Externally, I'm
yeah.
straight. Inside, uncomparable.
Yeah, you can't touch me. You can't. Yeah, you can't touch me once I open up this mouth and get to running off this shit. But outside, I'm not. Like I can go out with 5 or 6 of my girlfriends. I'm the only one who doesn't get hit on. I'm one of the few who.
That's probably because you be scowling at people all the time.
No, I don't. I am always friendly until there's a reason to not be friendly.
You're always friendly after a conversation starts.
No,
I'm certain you have a standoffish demeanor.
I mean, I probably do in certain environments because you have to set a tone. You have to, and especially for me, a white woman who is in the circles that I'm in, dating the majority of the types that I do, we get stereotyped as, easy. We get stereotyped as, Becky's. We get stereotyped as, just an easy ass chick. And I certainly cannot give you that fucking expectation over here. That doesn't mean that I just go out intentionally looking like I'm just this robo bitch by any means, but
same thing happens when you thick, Nikki.
When you what?
When you thick.
I bet so. The type of attention that comes from having booty, from having boobies, from being a voluptuous woman, they just automatically think that you're just going to give it up, or you're easy, or damn.
Why would you think that just because I'm thick? Like, I didn't give myself these things.
Right. 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 These came with the body. Like this is part of the territory. And even if let's say even if you did have surgery and you went and got, the booty done and the boobs done and all that stuff, that doesn't mean that I'm promiscuous. That doesn't mean that I'm just gonna drop down and meet you in the bathroom or meet you outside. Like, so in thinking about that picture and the 10% and how all the average men get passed up for the 10% men.
It's only early though. It's only initially. It evens out later on down the road.
But hey, but the same thing was happening to us average chicks in high school too.
What's that, getting passed up?
It happens some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 10%.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't a 10%, but it was probably the 30%.
Yeah, like anybody that you were like that was held as a standard of somebody you wanted that 10-20% of the prettiest girls in school. And they just had a revolving door of boyfriends.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
or at least options.
I know we
revolving door of options.
I think the problem is everybody is shooting for a small number and not just meeting what you can get in the middle.
It's how long does it take for you to come to grips with who you are? Once you
hopefully
realize
not
who
too
you
long.
Are. Some people do.
So Ivory, and I ask you the same question. Do you feel like that is settling then as we get older? Like maybe our parameters change, maybe our, what we thought we found attractive or what we required in a man, like in our 20s and 30s, is different than what we find attractive or require in a man today. Is that settling? Is that?
I wouldn't say it's settling, because to me, when you're a teenager or you're in your early 20s, you don't actually know what it takes to live life with another person.
True.
So your requirements are so superficial, not even on purpose, just because you have no clue. And then as you get further into your 20s, you're like, wow, I have to like operate a whole life with another human being. Like, I don't care if you're 6'2". Like, can you keep money in the bank? Can you hold a conversation with me? Do you have some emotional intelligence? Do I like looking at your face? Why does it have to be the face everybody wants to look at? Why can't you just be the face I want to look at? But I think you get there later just because you find out it takes so much more to live a life with a person than the superficial things you thought would be exciting when you were younger.
Well, and I feel like superficial relationships are the ones that are, they're superficial. They're the fakest. Like, they don't last. They they don't have much substance. They don't have any lasting power to them, the superficial relationships. I think like two superficial people have to be together to make a superficial relationship work, because they're both full of shit, honestly, in my opinion.
I think it's just a bigger guess. I mean, eventually you're going to have to come to a place where you get past the superficial, and then what do you have past that? Now, you might luck up and find out that you actually like each other, but it's an absolute guess. And a lot of people, you know, you find out that you don't.
Well, I remember this because I've been preaching this whole average thing forever. And
you have.
I remember saying this to a girl, like, I'm so average, da, 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 da. And she was like so mad at me because she's like, no one's ever asked me out on a date ever, but you go around calling yourself average. How many times have people asked you out? How many times have people, you know, wanted to take you out or tried to talk to you? And I'm like, well, yeah, that happens. And she's like, some of us, it doesn't happen for. And so that's why I was getting on Quentin, because I'm like,
different level. I ain't never say I was pitiful.
But I'm saying, even if 40% of the people you meet think you cute, you might not be average.
But you know what, really,
right.
and this, and I think what I just said rings the most true. You understanding who you are. See, I could have been more well off than I knew had I known what I was earlier. It kind of took me a little while to realize it. Like, okay, you might not be the top of the totem pole, but you ain't, you know, you ain't definitely not the bottom. And if you let your personality show, then, you know, and then that's when I started to realize what I did have over people.
You pop in too.
Right.
You have to know, like, my whole look, vibe, like, I need to be like, if I wanted that type of attention when I was younger, I had to like start being around more artsy crowds. All of that instead of that, you know, bundles crowd.
What's a bundles crowd?
You know, the bundles crowd.
I don't know. What do bundles mean?
Hair, weave, down your back. Bundles.
Oh. I didn't know that. The bundles crowd. That's funny.
So Q, did either of your parents, or in particular your dad, talk to you about any of this? Like, will you have this conversation with your son and your daughter? Because I feel like I sure as hell wasn't like educated on dating or value or worth or average versus like those conversations didn't happen for me growing up, and I feel like I learned the hard way. I'm still fucking learning, you know, and I'm 43. Like, I feel like I'm learning so much more now as an adult than I ever did. But like, was that conversation had to you, like, for you to accept who you were, you know, at that younger age versus, or did this come into you as you know, grew into a man and learned more of women, learned more of yourself, this average versus not average, like, you know, just that whole dialogue? Yeah,
no, that dialogue never happened. And I had to learn on my own. I had to absolutely learn on my own. I don't think anybody helped me with it. It was like self-understanding, trial and error. All of that. Well, it took a while.
Will you have this conversation with your son? Like,
oh, absolutely.
I've preparing him for dating whenever he starts.
Absolutely. I'm going to have this conversation with him early.
Hell yeah.
I pry at him right now. But he's funny.
Well, and I think because, you know, especially as younger, you know, when we all first started dating, you know, middle school, high school, if we don't know shit, if nobody's told us anything, you know, we go by what other people say. So if the majority says, oh, you're not cute, or if the majority says, you know, oh, you're too short, or you're too tall, or you're too fat, or you're too skinny, or your butt's not big enough, or your butt's too big, or your forehead's too big, or you wear glasses, or you got pimples, like we somehow become that, what people stereotype us as. And I think some of us get into that rut where we literally think that that's all we are. and we're not good enough, or we're not pretty enough, or we're not cute enough, or we're not desirable enough. And then when you see everybody else getting the dates or everybody else getting the attention, it's like, damn. I just wonder how many
And
of those
also,
people turn into poor relationships as they get older.
and I was gonna say also the other part of that is dealing in a large people who are largely insecure. I mean, the vast majority of people that you're around are insecure.
I agree.
And so the spoils would usually go to the extroverts. Me being an introvert didn't serve me well either, because then it's like, I was kind of shy, I was kind of quiet, and other insecure people, they're not gonna make no first move either. So if you can't get somebody to laugh, you can't get them to open up, if you're not bold enough to speak your mind, then usually sitting left on the outside.
That's true.
And it really wasn't until I learned to start opening up my mouth and I stopped being so damn shy and quiet that things started changing.
I was also gonna say, I think a challenge I had when I was younger is my parents were constantly telling me how pretty I was. Okay, my mom just, oh, you're so cute, you're so pretty.
Oh, that's a problem.
But like I would change my hair. Oh, that's the best style. But anything you put on, you look great. But this was my challenge: is I looked nothing like my mother. So my mom has a lot of self-confidence. She doesn't have a lot of insecurities about her looks. I never had to hear a bunch about that. Maybe just weight stuff, but nothing about her looks. Like, she's very confident. I look absolutely nothing like her at all. I look exactly like my father. So then
would you not believe her when she said that?
It was just hard for her confidence.
You wouldn't see yourself in her.
Me, because I don't see myself in her. So I'm like, you are the typical thing people find beautiful, and I don't look like you. And then the people who look like me they have tons of insecurities about how they look, so they can't help me. So I had to get it on my own, pretty much. And then it wasn't her fault.
Right.
But it just was what it was.
And everybody thought our older sister was pretty. She looked like my mom. She didn't look like neither one of us.
Like my mom. I look just like my dad. And so I kind of had to figure it out on my own. Yeah.
So average. So you truly believe, Q, that a majority of women go for the 10% man. They don't go for average men. They're not interested in average men.
Just early on.
Okay.
17 to 28. By the time they hit 30, then their tunes start to change.
Do you think that, let's say, you've got somebody, like somebody who's in their 40s and they're starting over. They're in their 50s and they're starting over. Do you think that they have more of a propensity than to try to build that 10%, or just take whatever they can get?
They do more. It's two. It go either way. You get some that just start taking what they can get. They just because what happens is it's your experiences start to mold your priorities. So after you went after the pretty boys for the last 25 years and they all cheated on you and did little ratchet stuff, then by that time you're like, I just want a loyal man who gonna act right and bring his money home so we can eat and live and survive and enjoy each other. That change, because the destruction is like the type of man that I kept pursuing. It's changed. I realized that it hasn't benefited me any.
Right.
So let me stop chasing after these guys who think they the ish, and find a man who's more into me than I am into them.
They say that's the only way to make it work is for your partner to be more into you than you are into them.
I agree with that. And
that
see, a
seems
lot
so
of times going through
unfair,
the 20, it
though.
was more people who were into you than you were into them. So half of the majority of people that a 26-year-old woman that were into her, she wasn't into them. And that, see, that was the thing that really threw me off the most, is because these girls, they would chase after the guy who wasn't really into them as much. And it's like, look, I treat you good. I'm telling you. But your eyes is focused, you know, my eyes focused on you and your eyes focused on somebody else. And truth be told, my eyes was focused on them and somebody else was focused on me. But I didn't see them because I'm focused on somebody who ain't interested in me. We always looking up. We need to look straight across.
Yeah, why are we interested in people who we know are not interested in us?
We think in our mind, and that goes back to an insecurity thing. That goes back to the trophy wife thing. Me being with this person, and it ain't just about that. You think people beautiful, yeah, but also me being with this person elevates me also. Ivory, mute your phone. I don't know what you're doing.
I think she just jumped out.
She ain't muted. She got to mute your phone. Oh, okay. Yeah. See,
she's off the
stream. But yeah, so that's
Kevin says we want what we can't have. Is that the case? Do we want what we can't? I don't want what I can't. I do not want what I can't have.
At one point
I have no desire in spending effort or energy into something I can't. I've never pursued a man I can't have. I've never really pursued a man, but
you can see this statement. I never pursued nobody I couldn't have.
but I've never really pursued a man. Like I've never, like, really and truly. There's only been like one dude I was like, damn. There's been one guy I shot my shot at, and it worked, right? But like, I'm 43. I've never pursued a dude. And it's not like I have men knocking down my fucking door by any means. Sometimes I wish I did, but I don't. But I've never.
That's interesting. It's more important for you that they be into you than you be into them.
I mean, I gotta know that you feeling me for me to know that you feeling me. Otherwise, why would I put myself out there like that if you not feeling me? Like
a lot of people do that. They pursue someone who hasn't even shown that they're really feeling them.
Why would you do that? That seems like it obviously has to work somewhere.
You want what you want without even thinking about if that person. That's what I talk about that with them pools. Every criteria that you have, the longer your list is, the shorter you shrink your pool. So now you have this very small pool that you have to pick from, and by the time you have that small pool, you assume that the type of person that fits your criteria is actually going to want you. You can shrink that all the way down and then actually find somebody who check all of those boxes. And now you got to hope that person actually wants you and that you check their boxes, which usually is not the case. That's the other side to being that picky.
I know, right?
You that picky, like, oh, I finally found you. And this, he's like, yeah, but I think we're better off as friends. Now you gotta.
I mean, and that happens sometimes. Yes, that happens sometimes. But I feel like though too, I would rather have somebody who's a true, genuine friend, than not. Like I value friendships.
People get heartbroken though, because now it's like, I've been looking for you all this time.
Damn, man.
You're the one, and in your mind, like, no, you the one. You check off all the boxes. And they like, yeah. I just, I think we should be friends. I just, you cool, but I don't see you like that.
I still just don't understand somebody who just blindly goes out and shoots a shot when there is like no type of return energy that would even let you think that this is a good idea. Like, and maybe that's the difference between men dating and women dating, because generally men are the ones that pursue women and men are the hunters, and I get that.
Some men are terrible at reading body language.
Damn.
And that's why I said this in another meeting that we had. I rarely ever get turned down.
You rarely ever get turned down?
Rarely ever. And it's not because
But have you pursued women that you didn't know if they were interested in you or not?
No, that's my point. I read body language.
Right. And that's why you don't get turned down.
That's why I don't get turned down. I can clearly see in so many instances, oh yeah, no, they not, you know, and I tell my homeboy, oh no, they not interested in me. Yeah, go holler. They ain't, you know, they not interested in me. Oop. Are you still there, Nikki? Or you bounced out? Uh-oh.
Sorry, I got
still there.
Kicked out too.
So that's why, you know, and so many people have issues reading body language. If you learn how to read body language, if you learn simple stuff. That's
not rocket science though. Seriously.
It is for some people when they got their mind set up. When they got their mind made up on what they want, then they miss it.
I guess that's when the person, I feel like that's when the person becomes like the annoying person. When you are clearly giving off signals that you are not interested.
You know what?
I'm trying to just be cool with you.
No,
it's like somebody scratching the chalkboard to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is just.
People overestimate their personalities and all of their internal greatness.
Yes, especially if they got that ego going.
No matter how wonderful of a person you are, if someone's not attracted to you, they could care less.
Care less.
And I think that's what people miss. They're like, wow, but I'm such an awesome person. If you just got to know me, you would love me. And even if I get to know you and I'm not attracted to you, it doesn't matter. I could find out all of the wonderful things that you believe about yourself is true, and it still would matter. I still won't be attracted to you.
Right. Nothing you can do.
Self-esteem comes in. See, that's where self-esteem comes in. Even if you don't like me, that don't take away from me. I'm just not your cup of tea.
Right.
And then I don't have to get mad. I ain't want you anyway, you stupid. You know, just the dumb stuff people do from insecurity. Like, okay, no problem. And I don't even do that. But that's the insecurity start talking.
So what age do people stop trying to get what is above them and actually look across to what?
Usually about 28 to 33. It's a combination of realizing that you want a family and that you're behind on the clock because you haven't built up tenure with anybody yet.
Right. You don't even have anybody to choose from.
Right.
Like, we got to see if this is even compatible.
Right. So even rough relationships, like high school sweethearts and stuff like that, they done been through some stuff, but they've been through it together. they test time. They went through it, and they so it's but especially once you get older and people get set in their ways, they're not trying to put up with your same stupid stuff. So your high school sweetheart to deal with your faults and your stuff. Because they've invested time, they have investment in it. People in listen, I'm gonna tell the truth. Once I got divorced, I'm like, I'm on the clock. Not that I'm on the clock.
And you thought like that as a man. That's so interesting to me. I feel like men would never think that they're on the clock like that.
Listen. Not that I can't find nobody.
Right.
But you have a short period of time. Like, you got to find somebody you can start investing time with. See, because I can be 50 and find somebody, but do that mean they're going to want to put up with me and my back go out then? Is they still going to stay with me after, are they going to be carrying? You got to, that ride or die stuff. You can't just think you're going to have a ride or die. No, that stuff is built over time. And it's like, no, I need to build up tenure with someone right now before I get to my 55, 60, 65 years. And you just think somebody's just going to be ride or die with you. They're going to be like,
you better go on. You can be replaced.
You better go to a chiropractor, pop that back in.
Okay.
Share my thoughts on mate selection and that it needs to happen a lot earlier than we subscribe to. So.
Yeah. So my point is, by the time I'm 60, I need to have 15, 20 years invested with somebody to where we not just, I can live with you, I can live without you. You don't want nobody at that. And when people meet late in life, that's the sentiment a lot of times.
Yeah, that was my thing. You know, I was 37. I guess 35 was when I started thinking about the exit plan. 37 is when I pulled the trigger. And I thought to myself, you know, I watched my parents pretty much divorced after they were 50. My parents been together since they were in high school. Like, that's all they knew. They were high school sweethearts from a small ass town. So everybody was, you know, it's just just everybody knew everybody type thing. And so much enmeshment with other people and outside sources and shit, you know. But yeah, my parents were they were a little bit over 50, because I remember my mom celebrated her 50th birthday with her twin that was down here, and it wasn't but a couple years after that where they separated. And you know, my mom is now I think she'll be 67 this year coming up. My dad passed away, of course, a couple years ago, so he was 64, didn't make it to 65. And I watched the two of them, you know, be single in their late 50s and having the same fucking struggles in their 60s as I have in my 40s, with what I think are quality men, to be completely honest, which I'm sure there are men who say the same thing about women. There's not a lot of quality women out there. I get it. There's some bullshit bitches and there's some trash ass dudes out there. Like, I get that. But I always thought that, like, older would be better. Like, older was going to be wiser. Older was going to be more mature. Older was going to, like, it was just like the thing to be. And watching them be single in their 50s, I was like, in my young 30s, I was like, oh shit, no, I don't want to be like that when I'm 50. And then when I actually pulled the trigger and left my relationship after 16 years, I'm 37 years old thinking, oh, I got plenty of time. But here at 43, it's been 5 years I've been single. And I'm like, the prospects out there. And that's not just because of the type of man maybe that I like or that I'm looking for. Every woman I know that's single, who I would still think is a pretty good fucking woman, no matter what she chooses, the type of man she chooses, the demographic of man she chooses, there's just not a lot of quality out there right now. Like, and then you get into the side chick conversation we were talking about earlier.
That there's not a lot of quality out there.
I have a theory, and I think I've shared it.
Okay, what's the theory? I'm because that was a question. I wouldn't. That was real actual question.
The men who are genuinely like out there are not quality at this age. Let me tell you why.
Because they be scooped up already.
Men who are quality are monogamous. They are serial monogamous.
Yeah.
So by the time you hit your late 30s and 40s, you are either looking at the quality men are in a relationship or they're exiting a relationship, about to enter another relationship.
That's
the
true.
Only time you're catching a quality man is in transition.
That is true.
Out of a marriage,
so if they're rebound, you better take that rebound. That's what you're saying, Ivory.
And I'm sorry, don't nobody want no rebound. Like, I don't want a rebound, and I don't want to be a rebound.
Based off of what Ivory is saying,
I know.
To be a rebound.
Well, but for me, I feel like that's like almost a weakness in that man, to not even take any time to heal, as opposed to jumping into the next woman.
No, serial monogamous.
So different. That is
I
how men are set up.
I had a
pastor.
I know.
Men dry their tears and find them a boo. That's what they do. Like, they cry, they process, and they move on.
If you're monogamous.
That's what a monogamous man does. And women, we need to take time and regather ourselves and stuff.
I had a pastor friend of mine.
Does.
But that don't mean he shouldn't, though. He should take some time in between women. Go sit your ass down, bro. We gotta sit our thing down for a little bit. You should sit your thing down too.
You don't. No, that ain't what you want. I can tell you now. That's what I know from experience. Number one, because because it's some women out there who's searching, and they know quality when they see it. Number one, and then number two, them single women, they not wasting too much time. So this, in a nutshell, because I'm kind of talking in circles. Once I became single, I realized very quickly it's not good for me to stay single, because it's this.
You would have got comfortable. You would have gotten comfortable with that.
That I don't want to get used to. And if I get used to it, then it may be hard to come back from.
He's like, I ain't never coming back.
And let me say this, Nikki. I have a best friend who who I'm talking about, who after divorce stayed single a little too long, and I think it's hard for him to come back from living that single life for that period of time.
But if the prospects that he has out there are bullshit bitches, why would he want to entertain them?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's fun. It's fun. It's fun, Nikki. It's fun.
Well, of course it's fun. And I think that I honestly think that, if you're a single person and you've been locked down for a minute, I think that is part of what you need to go through. Like, you got to get some of that shit out your system. Like, I strongly believe that you just got to get some stuff out your system. But if the women that he is engaging with are not like quality women, or the women that he could see himself settling down with, why settle?
That don't mean they ain't quality.
No,
I ran across a lot of quality women.
That's an excuse, though. You know a ton of quality chicks that somebody could talk to if that's what they wanted. So if you keep dealing with this one after this one after this one, and all of them is about nothing, it's because you don't want nothing about nothing right now. Now, I don't think that's the same for women. I think we have a different struggle than men. But a man who's a decent man, who look decent, does not have to deal with a trash woman if he don't want to.
But listen, at this age, don't assume that just because you can run through a lot of them that they all thoughts. They ain't thoughts. Some women who are single, they single. So they still gonna get theirs one way or another. If sex is important to them, they're gonna get theirs one way or another.
Right.
And if some of them that I knew, that, once they were what they were, and once they found that one, everything else shut down.
Yeah.
But while they were single, they were going to be single, just like I was going to be. So
but I'm saying, to Nikki's earlier point, the men that are like in the dating pool and have been there for a while,
yes,
yeah, they normally trash.
Yes,
like
that's
it's
true.
a reason they're in the dating pool and have been there for years.
Right.
Because that's where they want to be.
All right.
And I do believe that in a lot of cases. Like, I see some of these guys out here that, been bouncing around doing the same shit for years and years and years and years and years and years. And I'm just like, okay, there's a reason why ain't nobody grabbed you up, or why no woman has tried to keep you, or you tried to make her be, your chick. And that sounds terrible, because the dude could say the same thing about me. Why you still ain't got no man? You've been out here for 5 years. You claim to be a good woman, all these things. Why you don't have a man? And so I do feel, well, but I feel like women reserve the right to have specific pickers, and men should too. So, is it just that the women that are out here right now are just as, some low quality, not healed, jumping from person to person, bleeding all over the person who didn't cut them, and so men are like, man, fuck this. I've already done this. I've had this type of woman. I was married to her forever. Like, I don't have to do this again. I'm not doing this again. And I feel like a lot of men get into situations, and maybe women do too, where it's like, why would I get into another relationship when I can literally just have sex with her?
But that goes back to what Ivory was saying, though. So I think I want to make sure I differentiate. As a monogamous man who was in a 10-year marriage, and then I was like in a 4-year relationship before, like all of my adult life, I've been in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Being single is not fun. Being able to have spontaneous sex with multiple people was fun, but that's only a short period of, that's a very small
that's
percentage
a small
of
part,
what your life, very small.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, that's fun. It was what it was, but I don't like being single.
Yeah.
I never, the desire to just, that wasn't appealing. Now it could be appealing to some people, but for me, the way that I've lived the majority of my life, I had a pastor friend who his wife died. He was married for like 20 something years, and he caught a whole lot of flack from his church because within like 8 months, I think he got remarried.
Damn.
And a lot of his members, a lot of people have issues with it. Some people left, and he, I don't care. I don't care less. But he's like you. He said, I've been married for 20 some years. I love that woman with all my heart. I don't know how to live not married. He's like, I don't know how to be single.
But don't you think that that's kind of a problem? Like,
No.
shouldn't we be able to be aren't we supposed to be okay being alone? Aren't we supposed to be okay being alone with ourselves? Aren't we supposed to be okay knowing who we are as opposed to jumping into the next? Like, I feel like that man would be like red flags on fire because he's looking to be taken care of. He's looking to replace this woman. Like, and not to say it's a bad thing. Like, I appreciate when people know what they want. You know, I'm big on that.
He do know who he is. He know he's meant to be married.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And some people are smart enough to know that they meant to be single.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people are. That's just what they should be. Single is just the best place for them.
Monogamous men gonna be with somebody.
My only problem is the people who love how much they proclaim being single, but then always got something to say about the other sex. I'm like, so you're not really happy single. You just this just where you at right now. You feel like you ain't got no choice.
Yeah, no, I don't enjoy being single. Like, I don't. Single, I enjoy companionship. I enjoy the friendship. I enjoy, having my partner. So being single is not something I enjoy. But I also, I realized if I'm getting the opportunity to start over, it's going to be what I want it to
short
be.
Man. Find your short one. Open that pool up.
Why? Why can't I wear my heels and look up and still be like, damn, he up there? Like,
wear your heels. Wear your heels and look down.
Wear your heels. Get you that.
Let me tell you this. My fiance is taller than me. If she would have been stuck on height, she would have missed the best thing that ever happened to her.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, right? Height is not like the main criteria, but I mean,
missed out on the manliest man she never encountered.
He's stupid. What's y'all's height difference?
Like ½ inch.
Oh, so it ain't that much.
But if she wear heels, I don't got heels. So she a full 5'9". I'm like 5'8.5".
I mean, and so that's like me and my kid's dad. He was my height, maybe like a ½ inch like taller than me. So it wasn't like, he was shorty or whatever.
So what's the difference though, Nikki?
Because like I said,
it don't sound like it's that much of a difference that you hold.
Because I didn't have it. I couldn't make him be taller. But since I'm no longer in a relationship with him and I get to start over and I get to create, I get to make what I want.
You don't get to make what you want, Nikki.
I can be single forever, or I can have some parameters in which I want to experience.
Hold on. Nikki, what's the tallest man that you've ever been in a relationship with?
6'9".
Oh damn! Well, shit, that's tall.
Yeah, 6'9". I ain't gotta do that. I'm cool with 6'1", 6. Just a little taller than me. When I put on heels, I'm like 6'2".
So if you do 6, why wouldn't you do 5'10"?
Because I would not. I would not. I don't. My only thing with height is just don't fucking be shorter than me, right? Like, other than that, if a dope ass dude came my way and he was 5'10", I'd be like, well,
Nikki, don't be shorter than you. But if he only a ½ inch taller than you, then how much of a difference is it?
I would, and I'm not saying.
And when you wear heels, he's still gonna be shorter than you when you wearing your heels.
He's not excluded. He just hasn't come in my direction. So I'm saying when I go out though, I'm generally looking, at tall men.
Nikki, see, this is where I'm going with this. Before you found out that the boy was all lives matter and that he was all this other stuff. You was, see. No,
I wasn't. I was not interested at all. I was like, oh, he look old and tired. He don't look good to me. And then
that, let me go here though.
Somebody was interested in saying all lives matter. Oh no.
But before this, your friend already disqualified him because how she knows what your preferences are.
Mm-hmm.
Now, say he happened to be a great guy and somebody that you really like, and then she was like, "No, you too short. I'm not even going to introduce you."
She just knew we would fight, and she knows I ain't trying to fight no man no damn more. You know, she's like, he always wants to be right. He argues about everything, and he flexes his money. He throws his money around like, oh, I got a 6-figure income and I own my own business, so I can do, say, and, you know, have the vibe that I want. Like, I'm the catch.
Okay, specifically, yes. In general, would your friend, if she came across a great guy, would she not introduce you to him because she knows that he ain't tall enough for you?
No, she'd introduce me if he was a good dude, and she knew that, like, our vibe would be dope. She'd be like, bitch, he's small, but you're gonna have to get over this because he's a good one. He's a keeper.
Okay, I got you.
And you know, and if somebody vouched for somebody, like, and I know it sounds like sometimes I'm hella picky because, you know, there are some parameters that I have that might just be a little bit more difficult, right? But, like, outside of that, like, I like shit that most women don't. You know, I'm cool with stuff that a lot of women aren't. Like, I'm very low maintenance when it comes to a lot of things. But I'm not willing to budge on a lot of things, right? So yes, if she came across a dude who she was like, oh, this is right up your alley, he might be my height or maybe like a half an inch shorter, she probably still put him on my radar. But he can't be I don't want somebody
if he vaccinated, then it's a no-go.
You know he out of there, baby.
Wait a minute. You wouldn't date somebody who's been vaccinated?
Correct. I'm trying to.
We had this conversation. You don't remember?
No, serious. Like, what if it wasn't like a crusade kind of thing? Just like they rolled it out. I did it. My job wanted me to do it.
Yeah, I had to keep my job. I'm trying to be responsible.
Still would be like, no.
I mean, I'd have to say that all things are all. There's exceptions to all things, right? Like, I don't ever want to just blanket something, but I would prefer.
You would need to see where their mind was.
Yeah, but I already know if he got the vaccine, so I would have a really hard time. For me personally, I would have a hard time with that. And it's funny because me and my girl in Smack, we go to lunch, shit damn near every other week, and we talk about this shit all the time. She's like, so you mean to tell me, like, if I met a good ass dude for you and he checks off all these things and he got the vaccine, she's like, you wouldn't holler at him? And I was like, I wouldn't not, but probably not. She was like, this is out of control.
Chance, but it would be a mark against
Ivory,
but you would give a chance.
That's crazy.
We'd have to engage in some conversation. Like, I'm not just going to be like, cross you off the list. Like, I don't even want to talk to you. But I would have a hard time with that.
We had this conversation before, Quentin, because
we did.
Okay, if we were single, and then you meet somebody and they're perfect, and then they say, I voted for Trump.
Oh, God. They're not perfect. They're not perfect.
It's a conversation that's going to need to be.
But I feel like
we have to have a conversation. Like, we would really have to figure out your motivation behind voting for him. It would have to make sense to me.
But I also feel like you would see those things in that person's personality that already told you, like, for me, when and you gotta think about it, like when Trump was up for election, a very significant portion of my family has pretty much, been exiled from my life because of this. I didn't know that, and again, we moved down here when I was 8 years old, so I was not really raised day by day with any of my family except my mom, my dad, and my sister. So when I learned, part of my family, all of them were like voting for fucking Trump, I was floored. I was nauseous. I was disgusted.
Nikki, I have a lot of people in my family who voted for Trump.
Well, that's between you. That's between you and your family. Y'all was raised Republican too. That's between you and y'all. I can only speak for me because as a white person voting for Trump, when you say, oh, well, we're just voting for him because, his business politics, but you can't look past the fact that he's a flaming fucking racist, and incites raceful rhetoric, like, and I, and in this particular scenario with me and these family members, I have black children. Like, I have a really hard time with this. And it wasn't just his business politics. When you go back and you look at 20, 30, 40 years of relationship with these same family members, it was very a lot of microaggressions, a lot of things that you may not have, really realized as a younger person that you totally vividly see, when you know what to look for.
So would you say the same thought if somebody you met voted for Biden?
No, because I realize why a lot of people voted for Biden, but I would prefer a man that doesn't vote at all. You know what I'm saying? But like, but I understand why people voted for Biden. I didn't vote for anybody. I'm not voting. I refuse to vote, but that's just my personal thing. So like, even sometimes when I see a man,
that's
even
weird.
Sometimes,
yeah, I guess I get it. A lot of people are like, I'm one of the people, and I think me and Ivory even differ from that. I don't care much what you do as long as you don't have a problem with the way I operate. So see, I could
because that's your principle.
Yes, we differ.
That's your principle to me. Yes. Yeah. And I feel like if your principle is something that literally does not vibe with my principles, and you know how I feel about standing on principle. Like, there's just some things I'm not going to be able to just go around, and maybe that's my problem. I don't know.
What if something is a principle for you, but it's not a principle for the other person? It's just a
choice.
If
their actions go against what my principles are, then we have a problem. You don't have to be down with my shit, but if your actions are the exact opposite to what my principles are, then they may not be the same, but you are going against the grain, like, as opposed to being neutral. Like, nah, I can't. I'm not interested in that. Like, you don't, and so that was kind of like the other part to the conversation tonight, is you and your partner being yoked. Would that work if you and your partner were not built the same, did not believe the same, didn't think the same, didn't feel the same? And I don't need my partner to do everything the way I do, because then we're no longer necessarily individuals, but we've got to have some common ground, some common principles, some common ethics, some common beliefs. Because I feel like it's just exceptionally challenging to try to make it work with somebody when it's oil and water. Like, fundamentally, like, why? Like, I don't want that challenge. I've done that. I did that for so long. Like, I don't want to do that.
I think it's really about tolerance.
If anybody's controlling.
Yes.
Absolutely. Say that again, Aubrey.
It's challenging if you have either party that's controlling or both parties that's controlling. I think it's not as challenging when no one's controlling.
Right.
When no one's controlling, then it's a lot of acceptance.
Yeah.
So, and I would I'm not even sure that me and my partner believe the same way about a lot of things. But she's not trying to. She understands how I think. She ain't trying to change that. I understand how she think, and I ain't trying to change that.
But
not even am I not trying to change it, but I'm okay with it.
But fundamentally, do you guys have the similarity? I mean, you have to have the similarities fundamentally to keep you together, to keep you bonded, to keep you united. You can't be on two different pages on everything. Like,
not on everything.
Yeah.
But
what is the biggest difference that you guys have belief-wise? Like, what is something that y'all just do not have the same principle on, you think?
You know what? It's probably the way that we view God or Christianity. And I don't think it's too far away, but I think she's definitely more traditional in her belief system. And I'm definitely not.
Okay.
But she's not traditional to the point of being absolute church apologist. That's where it becomes a problem sometimes. where you have a where systems, whether it be church or whatever, can do no wrong, and you always take in you have to be able to acknowledge reality.
I bet y'all have great conversations then.
You know what? It's funny. Our conversations are usually not surrounded like a lot of the stuff I talk to in here. we don't talk much about it. We talk about a little bit, or she'll propose certain ideas. And a lot of my ideas came from things that she proposed, but a lot of that I'm like, I know she's not that interested in. And one of the reasons I talk as freely, number one, because she don't listen.
Because she don't listen.
She don't listen to this.
She ain't on.
Yeah, she got limited interest in this type of stuff.
This guy I know, he was like, in the very beginning when we first met each other a couple years ago, he's like, you're not even a Christian. And I was like, no, I'm not. And he was like, you don't even go to church. And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, well, if we're together, you're going to church with me. And I was like, no, I'm probably not. Like, you don't want me to go do something just because you want me to do it. Like, you want me to do something because I want to be supportive, or I want to, take part in that. And he was like, he just couldn't wrap his mind around that. And I was like, and in my mind, I'm like, bro, you don't even go to church. You need to go to church. You need some Jesus in your life. But why are you looking at me crazy? At least I'm honest with my shit. And I mean, so for that, there's just going to be some things I think maybe I can be flexible on, but there are things that people are not flexible on with the things that are my foundational beliefs. I think that's one of the reasons why.
I think that's the thing. Like it will require two flexible people, not because if only one person is flexible, then it becomes the other person's world, right?
Yeah, that's not a compromise.
You're just making sacrifices for the inflexible person, which is not. That doesn't work.
Or you constantly have someone trying to change you. It's like that's irritating.
Yeah.
It either doesn't work or you do start to change, so you can have peace and stay in a relationship. When I met my husband, I think I was the more inflexible person, and over time I had to learn like he can just be himself, and it doesn't have to look the way you think it's supposed to look. Because I had a whole bunch of ways it was supposed to look, and he wasn't subscribing to none of that. So I had to just learn. Like, it don't have to be the way you were taught that it has to be.
Right.
I
think that's one of the blessings of getting older, though, too, is just really being able to identify, like, what actually is in my value system versus what is just this image that I, like, have been fucking force-fed my whole life. And I had this conversation with a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and I said, where I am in my life, this is not where I was supposed to be. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing in my love life. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not where I was supposed to be. I never, ever thought 5 years later I would still be single. When I first, split up with my ex, I remember this one girlfriend of mine, gorgeous, beautiful woman, like she's like totally like a pick, right? I remember she posted something one day about being single for 2 years, and single, like for real, like not got some friends, but like single, celibate, haven't been with anybody, like no, just not dating. And I remember thinking to myself, I will never be single for 2 years. Well, 5 years later, and it's like, I feel like I'm hell bent on the few things that are important to me. That I'm just not going to budge on some of those things, but how much I've understood men more in 5 years, or how much I've listened to men talk about their side of the story over the last 5 years, to listen a little bit differently or to follow a little bit differently. But there's just going to be some things I'm not fucking giving up.
Do you question if you're doing anything wrong?
Oh, all the time.
Let me ask my question first.
Yeah, all the time.
I started slow asking my question before you got to it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you feel like being celibate makes it more difficult?
What? Dating?
Dating, yeah.
No. Okay. No, because I think just being celibate is just choosing to not have sex with anybody and whoever just because you want to literally have an orgasm. Right. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's cool, and I don't knock nobody for it. And if you got a friend, you keep them on the line, and this is what we do, right? But like to say that, like, oh, I'm not going to be with you until we're in a relationship, I don't say that. I wouldn't say that, because I love everything about sex. I'm just not willing to have it with everybody, and I don't need it to define my value as a woman. And I also feel like, you can't just go running around giving it to everybody. I don't subscribe to that, right? Like, I don't want them troubles. I don't want them problems. So I don't just be passing it around. But that's not for me. That's not a part of healing for me. That's just not wanting to be lonely. And I've had to learn how to be lonely and be alone and be okay with those two places. I still greatly, look forward to a partner and having a partnership, but it's also had to change too, right? Because now I'm not going to be doing this with my children's father. This is going to be somebody else who may come into my life, and do I wait until my boys are older and out of the house? Like you said earlier, Ivory, it's the picture of what I thought it was supposed to be. I'm coming to realize it might not fucking ever be that for me. And it makes me sad, because I did have this idea of how I wanted things to go, and I know I'm a very good quality woman, so what I bring to the table is a benefit to any man that I'm with. Like, and I don't say that lightly. I'm not a bullshit bitch. Like, you lose good women and you lose good men, and you find out afterwards, damn, I should have done everything I could have done to keep that one. But I firmly believe in love. I firmly believe in maybe happily ever after. But it just looks a little bit different today, because dating has been discouraging. Being single has been discouraging. The pool is discouraging.
My single friends are discouraged right now. And I mean,
yes,
they're good women, like it's
yes, I said the same thing.
They're discouraged right now.
I've got some amazing women friends, and they're all a variety of ages, date different types of men, different levels, different classes of men, and everybody has a discouraged.
Ivory, I have a question.
Yes.
And I can't speak to this because I'm not a woman.
Okay.
Are single women looking in the wrong areas? Is it somewhere else that they should be looking that they're not looking?
No, I wouldn't say that. I feel like me and you have had this conversation, and your biggest pool as a woman is going to be between about 18 to 26, 25. After that, your pool gets very small.
About the pool shrinking.
It shrinks because a lot of monogamous men have done their monogamous thing. And you're left with what's left once you are getting around in your 30s and 40s. And then a lot of the men, of course, in their 30s and 40s are looking for something younger. The most success that I've seen women in 30s and 40s have is people in their 50s.
Yes, that's what I always say. Youth age is relevant.
It is, but everybody's not willing.
Well, not relevant. It's relative. I should say that. It's relative.
Not willing to go ahead and hitch their wagon to an old man, which I understand, because that wasn't the vision.
No, I think you hit it on the head. I think people's biggest issues, they need to go up. Wherever you are,
it's hard because you don't want to be nobody 10 to 15 years. I mean, I understand.
Find somebody that's in shape.
Hell, that can be hard too. Hey. That can be challenging too when you done spent the last 40 years of your life eating McDonald's and garbage dumpster food, and now you on your last leg.
My daddy looked like he my slightly older brother.
He does. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of your dad. I was like, damn, that dude's young. They must have had y'all when they was like 12.
My dad got married. He looked like he was 12.
But no, I don't know. Single women I think they're doing the best that they know how. Like the single friends I have.
Where else should they be looking, Ivory?
No, I'm saying the single friends I have are have explored every avenue. Like they weren't open to online dating. They got even open to that, right? Okay.
Ivory, I have been against online websites for like the first 4 years. The last year, I'm like, fuck, what else is there to do now?
Let me do that.
Because that's all we're doing is online anyway, so maybe, just maybe.
You should do online dating.
I'm not. I played around with a little bit. I played around. Yeah, you don't know until you try it. I tried. No, I tried it. I tried a couple little websites for like a minute, and I was like, it made me even more depressed. And I'm not depressed, but it made me even more disappointed.
Nikki, they do it for like a 3-month block, and then they take 3 months off. and then they do it for 3 months. And
3 months would wear my spirit out. It would wear my spirit out
because they get tired.
You know what? Let me ask you this. Let me ask both of y'all. Let me ask both of y'all this. Should, and this, I'm guessing, I'm thinking off the top of my head. That's where I think you may do better going to a mutual interest club. So if you like to read, go to book clubs. Like me, I join a chess club. You might find somebody with mutual, and you find people who are not thirsty. You just find people who are enjoying.
Right, dating sites are definitely thirsty fucking people.
You find, this is what I like to do, so I'm enjoying my life by doing this. They also doing this while they're enjoying their life too, and it seems like it can be intentional, but more natural and organic, where you could run into someone. That's my guess. I don't know. That's what
and you're right.
Take a dance class.
Go ahead, Ivory.
You like dance?
No, I'm just gonna say you gotta really
it's all women
out to your friends and family. Like, I'm interested in dating somebody quality. So if you run across somebody, remember me. Like that's the point I'm at, because those mutual meetings when people know
they know you,
somebody, they know you. Those are the best too.
Yeah.
Because they usually, if they're good, they're not gonna try to hook you up with trash.
No, but I don't.
Well, you gotta watch out though, because sometimes they not. And I've been guilty of this sometimes too. It's not. You got to think about it. It's like sometimes they more want the other person to get their stuff together. They think, oh man, Nikki would be great to help John. Act right. So they might hook you up with somebody who need to get right, but they're not thinking.
They know.
Then they have to go back
like, no project.
Girl, not even. Don't send that my way.
If they're thinking more about him than they are her, then they'll be like, you know what? She can be good for him, and she can help get him back on the. Sometimes people.
It's funny you mentioned that. I have never. That I can think of, I've never had a male friend or a female friend hook me up with anybody for that matter. And I kind of had hoped that like some of my male friends, and of course that I've made like the greatest relationships with, especially since being single, like purely platonic. Like I legit was like, okay, they supposed to hook me up with one of their homeboys, but I'm like, y'all ain't got no good homeboys, nobody worth a shit, because I've never been set up. I've never been.
Your criteria might be too long.
It might be. I don't know. But I also feel like at the same. I mean, I want it to be that way. Like I really do. I want somebody to be like, oh, I know this friend. I mean, hell, I do it for my girls too. If I had a homeboy who was, some of my dude friends have linked up with some of my single, some of my single girlfriends. I don't know the whole. I just think that we're in an era where dating is challenging anyways. Relationships are challenging anyways because of social media. So we think about how much social media has changed our regular relationships. Think about how social media has changed the dating world and the exposure that men and women have to other men and women, and how totally like normal it has become to be thirsty, like you said, or to be promiscuous and to celebrate being promiscuous. And it feels as though people don't value monogamy, or that people don't want monogamy anymore.
It could be right.
And that's fine if you don't. Just know what you want or you don't want, but don't sell somebody short like, oh yeah, I'm monogamous, just to lie about it.
I can see that for women now that you say that, because now like the overwhelming opportunities for men to engage in casual sex can change the appetite for a lot of men.
I believe that.
And I think just hearing you, not only you, so many people that I've heard say that, I think that could play a big role in it.
Yeah, why would you want a woman when you can literally get your needs met? And after the sex is over, she goes home and then boom, you're right back to your shit.
Men still want women, but
I believe that.
Men, there will always be men who are serial monogamous.
Yeah.
There will. But then it's a whole nother group that's just out there floating.
Well,
and
see,
the women have to keep getting bruised by the floaters. Because the other people be locked up. This goes back to my point. Man, I mean, Nikki, your situation is different because you was with somebody during those years, right?
Right.
But you gotta go ahead and pick during picking time, and that's in your 20s.
Ivory, this is the problem.
But you say that, Ivory, but like my daughter's 25, so she's got a lot of friends who are in their 20s, and they're all in piss poor relationships too. So it's like, I just, I hate to sound like this old granny who's like, people just suck in 2021. But like, a lot of people really are actually unhappy. A lot of people really don't know their own value, men and women. A lot of people think it has to be what Instagram looks like.
The problem is insecurity still. And this is the problem with 20s, right? Is you have to come to a place somewhere, probably in your early 20s, where you work through a lot of your insecurities. Because that's the only way you're going to attract another non-insecure person.
But most people don't realize their insecurities though until they're like 30 and 40.
Person. And then as a woman, you've gotten to a place where this is hard now. Dating for a woman in your 30s and 40s is hard as all get out. Where it's actually not that hard to have a better selection in your 20s.
Yeah.
If you're not insecure.
Right.
So I think the goal should be teaching our daughters to work through their insecurities a little earlier. So they can get to picking. Before 30.
Because then on the flip side, I've got relatives who are in their late 50s and 60s who have the same nightmare stories with men that they're dating men. So it doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70. It just seems like the dating pool is full of people who probably shouldn't be dating, who should be healing somewhere, who should be figuring some things out somewhere.
You got enough time for that. You got to go get.
So then you got people who just jump.
It's a conundrum.
You got to figure that stuff out early because you'll get stuck. Okay, so when I met my husband, I had just met this other guy maybe like a week before. I thought this gentleman was beautiful. I mean, he was probably 6'2", 6'3", looked like he just stepped off a magazine cover. I mean, just wonderful. I'm 22. And a week later, I meet my husband, and I did not think he was beautiful, but not bad looking. But of course, I just met this guy I think is beautiful. And so for a second, I'm talking to both of them for a second. And this guy is like a real loser. But he's beautiful. But he is a loser. Now, ain't nothing but cute to look at. I would be like, I could clean up this loser. That's what I was good at. Trying to clean up losers.
Yeah, that's what you do.
And I'm like a light bulb. Okay, he did something really stupid. And then he was talking to me and he was like, see, I need a woman like you. And like the light bulb went off like, what do I need? Right. You need a woman like me. Like, what is it that I need exactly? And I never asked myself that question before. And then I was like, oh, I need somebody like him. The other one I'm talking to. Somebody ain't got to do all this apologizing and that, somebody got their stuff together. But I'm saying sometimes women are having that conversation with themselves when they're 32 instead of 22. Like, you got to start having those conversations earlier. You can't keep dating what's cute, what's this, what's that, but it's nothing else.
Well, it's just surface. It's literally just surface level attraction.
Then when you're 30, like, oh, I need something quality. I need something real.
He don't do it for me. He didn't do it for you then. You just like the way he looked. That's why I don't care what other people think about, the attraction level. He just got to be attractive to me, I don't know.
Can we talk about the law of attraction?
I mean, it's very real.
And no, I'm not talking about physical attraction. I'm talking about you attracting the energy that you are.
Yeah.
So even for me, I never ever I've never had a problem finding quality women. Now some of them a little crazy, some of them we weren't compatible, but that's the energy that I give off. That's the frequency that I give off. And it's like, and not just even in relationships, just in friendships. I don't have a problem finding quality people because that's the energy I give out. Right. So then it's like, if you can't never find nobody, like, what is it about your energy that puts you in bad circles constantly?
You know, I've read quotes numerous times.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I've read quotes numerous times that talk things like, you know, because I think about that. I'm very, very particular about energy and in energy, you know, being full circle and working the way that it does, you know, and you know, you say I'm scowling and shit, you know, like when I go out or whatever, but like my energy, my energy is very good. And I've had, I oftentimes get told that, you know, when people are around me, you know, it feels good. The energy that they get off of me feels good. It feels positive. It feels optimistic. Right. So that's all fine and dandy. But like, I feel like some people they attach themselves to the energy because that's not who they are. They see that you are strong. They see that you are extrovert. They see that you are confident. They see that you can control a room. They see that you are positive. They see that you know, walk in the serenity prayer. You know, they see that you walk a walk and talk a talk. And some people who don't have that, like, attach themselves to people who are that because it feels good. Because you do get some healing energy from that person. And so, like, you have to be careful with your energy, though. Like, I'm not going to say I don't ever meet quality men, but I meet more men who need a fucking mother than they need a partner, who need lessons from a woman on how to treat a woman at, you know, 40 years old, mid 40 years old. And I mean, you know, of course, when you meet somebody new, there's going to be a learning curve in here between two people. But so I do believe what you say about the energy that you put out, but I also know the energy that I really believe I lead with, and that's not oftentimes reciprocated. It seems to be met by a needier person, a needy person.
Do you think that and I'll let you jump to it, Ivy. Do you think that the energy that you're letting off deals more with your profession, or not? It's your profession, but it's really your passion and your calling,
right? Which
is the AA, teaching, mentoring,
helping people,
like helping people, and that could be
being a helper is very dangerous.
And that could, and that's Ivory. Ivory would attract the most lowest self-esteem ridden people you ever meet in your life.
Damn.
Because that's, you know, she was that.
Yeah, when you're a helper or you have healer energy,
I'm gonna pick everybody up and I'm gonna be
and drag them on out.
See, and I ain't trying to fix my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing if you're a client.
Like, even friendships, I had to learn, like, okay, there's certain levels we can't stoop to. Like, we can't drag everybody out. But I was also gonna say,
right,
that is a certain energy as a woman because there's really two different types of men, maybe three.
Excuse me.
But you know, you have the kind of strong, I'm gonna fix it man, I'm in control, I'm responsible, I got it all together. And then you have the, you know, let you run it and I'm just kind of in the background. And I mean, I don't want to be ran, but I don't mind a woman who's like in control and da-da-da. And then you just got losers, right?
They're the worst for women.
But most women want the got it together, in control man.
Right.
But if you are a woman that presents yourself as I got together and I'm in control. You're not attracted to they're not attracted to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're attracted to more demure kind of, I would love a man to come along and help me out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not help me out like
And
pay all
some
my
women
bills,
know how to
but
play
like
that role too.
be responsible
Mm-hmm.
and be in control. And, you know, they
Mm-hmm.
give the energy of, I want someone to come and be in control of my life and my settings. And when you're a woman that doesn't give that off, you don't attract those men.
See, and sometimes, Ivory, I think that when you are a woman who subscribes to more traditional roles, and I don't care what anybody says, I do believe in male and female roles. You know,
Yeah,
I
me
do.
too.
There's some things I believe in, husband, wife, male, woman, you know, whatever. Like I think that when you do subscribe to traditional male, female, husband, wife, mother, father roles, it feels like that doesn't have a place in today's society. So it oftentimes feels like I'm a fucking dinosaur because and I feel like this also comes from the experiences that men have with like new age women who've been single their whole life, who haven't had a long-term committed relationship, who haven't had to really, you know, share a life with, let's say, their child's father, you know, as opposed to we live in two separate houses. You ain't even lived with this man. Y'all ain't never even cohabitated. You've never had to do the duties inside under one roof, as opposed to, you know, splitting households and shit like that. And so I oftentimes feel like what I think is where I operate best out of is not something most men today want to sign up for. The caretaker woman that takes care of the house and wants to fucking stay home and take care of the children and make sure that the fort is held down and run the business from home, run your business from home. Like, you know, be proactive on the home front side. And, you know, that's not to say that that's ever going to happen for me, because you know, the children that I have are not going to belong to the next man that I'm with. Those are not his kids. I get that. But it just doesn't feel like people really want to subscribe to that type of lifestyle today. And that's okay. But I'm not going to change what I feel is best for me, where I fit the best. I'm never going to be an executive woman. I'm never going to be a corporate woman. I'm never going to be the bag go-getter, you know, with 20 different businesses. That's not what I do. I've been raising kids since I was 17 years old, damn near by myself. Like, that doesn't mean that that's all I got, but I still have children I have to raise. So they're always going to come first. The mom title comes first all the time. And I think that too also is a struggle. You know, not to say that single moms and dads don't date, because of course they do. But like, if you're not trying to introduce your kids to every person that you meet, and you're trying to still uphold your lifestyle at home with your children, you can't be running the streets constantly and going on dates constantly and trying to figure out if this is going to work between me and this one, or me and that one, or me or that one. Like, I just don't know how real single parents can pull that off. Like, I don't. That, or you are introducing everybody that you date to your children. That's the only way you can make that work. And that is not something I will ever subscribe to. My children have never met another man. Like, no, it's this. So I feel like sometimes too, maybe this is just a time in my life where dating isn't supposed to really be on the table. I'm supposed to be finishing up my job, parenting my children, getting my sons through whatever they can. Their dad's not really in the picture right now. Like, I have a job to do with them. Would it be nice to have a partner for me, somebody to take care of me? Absolutely. But I'm guessing that just ain't in the cards right now, because that doesn't seem to be, you know, what sticks, you know, as opposed to the disappointment, or the men who are fucking married who are trying to hit you up, or the men who you know are in relationships who are constantly hounding you. And it's like, you disgust me. Like, gross. Like, no, nobody want that. Or my girlfriends who will be on, you know, dating sites, who every date that they've had was from a man who, you know, wasn't married, but then by the time they get to the date, oh, well, let me, you know, I lied on my profile, or, you know, and it's like, I don't know. It just seems like you said, you're either monogamous or you're not. And if you're not, that's fine. Just be honest about what your parameters are. It doesn't seem like people are being honest right now.
So next week we can talk about them side chicks too. So we ain't get to talk about
What?
that.
Because I do want to talk about that.
Conversation about side chicks.
She has something about side chicks.
Well, because like I'd asked him if we want to talk about that situation happened with like the baby and his baby mama Danny Lee.
Oh,
this is all this shit that happened on social media.
Me about it. Oh,
and it isn't so much like talking about them per se as it is just this side chick cheating, frenzied out world of people who.
But Nikki, can we be honest? In situations like this, and I think our new world is having a lot of situations like this. People want to call people side chicks, but you've never received a real commitment. But you call somebody else a side chick. Right. So because he always comes back to you, you're his main chick, but they've been cheating on you your whole relationship. I don't think you got the right to call nobody no side chick.
Right.
I mean, you think if they always cheating on you, then you don't get the side chick qualification?
All y'all on the side of his wants and needs.
So you are side chick then.
Everybody's the side chick.
They're all side chicks.
I'm the main chick. No, you're not. You're not.
Like, at what point did that become something to be proud of, though? Like, at what point did being his main chick something that was better than being the side chick? Because at the end of the day, your man's still fucking lying. And
all the time.
It's and it is
when it happened.
It is so celebrated. It seems as though, being a cheater and getting away with cheating is what to do. That's just what you do. People are not faithful today. People are not monogamous today. Like, people don't want monogamy today. And that blows my mind.
When society devalues marriage, that plays a part in it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It plays a big part in it.
And social media has allowed it to be so easy and so secretive, and you can be so sneaky with social media that you could have one man who's in 50 inboxes every day,
and this is
then go home to his wife.
Nikki, this is the thing about cheating. There's a whole bunch of regular dudes out here who are not serial cheaters.
Sure,
tons of them.
Right.
Now, this is what
I
say. Anybody can cheat situationally. Situation can arise and anybody can become a cheater because that's situational. And then you have serial cheaters. And the wind can blow west and they go cheat.
Right.
Nothing gotta go wrong.
Right.
It's just what they do. But you know what about serial cheaters? Whoever's with them knows they're serial cheater. They didn't just get cheated on when they got married.
Right.
They've been getting cheated on. Serial cheaters can't do nothing but cheat. You didn't caught that person cheating or doing something suspect before you got married, unless you only dated for 4 or 5 months. But if you dated a couple years,
love covers a multitude of sins.
Well, you might have covered it, but you got cheated on. If you with a serial cheater. Now, a situational cheater, that could be
what I mean by that
could be depression, that could be anything. They go out and cheat because of something that's happening. I think anybody can be a situational cheater. But those chronic and everybody inbox cheaters, they people know they're a cheater. It ain't no way.
I don't know about that.
It ain't no way. It ain't no way. Unless you slow.
I mean, but some people can pull that double life. Some people can pull that double life real good. Yes, they can.
But I think love,
well, to a certain extent,
love makes you dumb, though.
Love does make you dumb. Love will make you blind.
Insecurity makes people deal with cheaters.
When you're enamored, you overlook the obvious, and then by the time you get out of it, like, I can't believe, and your friends are like, I don't know how you ain't see that. But the reason you couldn't see it and everybody else could see it. Or what?
I've seen insecure people deal with serial cheaters, and I've seen lazy people deal with serial cheaters. Those are two types of people that deal with serial cheaters. I'm too lazy to pursue another relationship, so I just keep dealing with the serial cheater. Or I'm too insecure and I don't believe I can get into another relationship.
Right.
So lazy people deal with them and insecure people deal with them. But they know.
But some people also stay because they think that, like, especially if your serial cheater is a liar, like some people, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I think everybody reaches their threshold when they're dealing with a cheater of just like how much shit you're going to take or how much you're not going to take or how many lies you're going to swallow or how many lies you're not going to swallow. Like you said, Q, love makes you do some dumb shit. It does. It makes you, take your blinders off sometimes. It makes you, not use your tools.
I disagree with y'all about this love. Yeah, let's go with that.
An unhealthy love, anyways, will allow for those things to happen because a healthy love with boundaries is not going to put up with that shit.
No, with love, it's not just about the cheating. It's the things, even the simple things that would drive you crazy if it came from another person. It's okay because it come from them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't you can't deal with nobody else farting, but if they fart out,
I agree with that with situational cheating. Like I agree that love can cover that. Like a situational cheat and you've really committed your life to somebody. I'm not saying you should leave that person just because they cheat on you. But like serial cheaters, I mean, they're going to be cheating on you until they get too old to do it.
Yeah, I get that. I'm not talking about even the cheating part. I'm talking about the characteristics of a person that identifies them as a cheater, even if you don't see the action or the behavior or you don't catch the text message or the DM. There's certain actions where you be like, But if you love somebody, you'll overlook all of what they talk about, the red flags. Be red flags all over the place, and you'll see the red flags on your homegirl and what she's talking about, but you don't see it with your man because you in love. That's what I'm talking about. I ain't even talking about you overlooking the actual. I'm talking about the red flags that clearly present themselves.
So you're saying how somebody can marry a serial cheater and not know?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because they love you.
You know what? I guess I understand that because people have said that about abuse. Like when people wait to finally hit somebody, like they wait until they wait to their honeymoon. A lot of people.
And your friends this thing like this dude ain't
actually, the first time they got hit was on their honeymoon, which is like crazy. But I get the psychology of it. Like they did tons of abusive things in the relationship. They just hadn't hit them yet.
Ivory, like that's what I'm saying. So you in the kitchen having a conversation with your homegirls, and y'all having too much fun and laughing, and he over in the living room getting mad. I'm like, man, what you
get mad? Yeah, that's a red flag. Right? And there was
she enjoying her time with her friends,
right in the house, safe.
But what you'll tell
you tripping,
people
and won't come be a part of it. Then he'll be standoffish, and then come back. Hey, let me talk to you for a second, and then every conversation got to be away from it. Got to be isolated, which is what abusers do, is try to isolate people. It's like, it's Thanksgiving, we having a regular conversation, and you can't. Everything you doing, you got to be talking in their ear, talking about I need to talk to you outside. Nah, you ain't right.
Yeah.
So
but what you
signs
you
that
is
you
when
see
I
earlier,
say, you didn't see that? You didn't see that he was gonna do that? No, he waited till our honeymoon.
They was in love.
And I'm like, boo. He might not have
because the action happened after the honeymoon, but the signs happened way before that.
Way before that let him know he could hit you on your honeymoon.
But that's what I'm saying.
And it was gonna be okay.
A lot of friends and people around you, by the time it happened, they like,
knew.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't know if he was hitting you, but I saw the possibilities.
That he was controlling.
Seen the characteristics. All right, we didn't hit the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Just be true in who you are, man. And I think it's okay to know what you want. I do. I think it's okay to know what you want. But I think you also have to sit down and ask yourself, of these things that I want, where or if am I willing to be flexible? What?
I get tired of people. You just casually say, just be true to yourself, be true to who you are. How many people do you think really understand who they are? And so many people don't even know themselves. They don't know what that means. They just hear it all the time.
That's why I said it. So be true to yourself. Find out who you are, God dog it.
Find out.
Find out who you are. Yes, because but again, I'm also a huge advocate
that means?
Well, but again, I'm a huge advocate in realizing that we almost don't even come into who we are until we're 30 and 40. When we've lived, the first 20 years fucking up, making bad decisions, sticking our hand in the fucking fire, thinking it's not gonna burn, and it burns every time. Like, I think that I felt like 30 and 40 and 50 would be like your prime, like the best of the best. But I also realized so many people are also leaving bad relationships that they've been in for 10, 15, 20 years too. And so a lot of people jilted, not wanting to start over, not wanting to spend any more time getting to know somebody else, that maybe they felt like they've been burned so bad in their previous relationship that some people have taken time to kind of figure things out. But like you said, Q, for a lot of people, that being single is just safer than trying to date. It is easier maybe than trying to date. You don't have to think about another person's feelings when you're single like that. You don't have to worry about, loss of control or, compromising with another person. You don't have to. You don't literally have to. And I think a lot of people have been comfortable with being single, but they want the benefits of being in a relationship, but they still want to be single. So just knowing who you are, though, or at least knowing what you want or what you don't want, and starting from there.
Have you ever met a person that doesn't know how to self-evaluate?
That doesn't know how to self-evaluate?
I've met tons of people.
I mean, I know people who won't self-evaluate, but I don't know about if they can't.
Don't know how. Like, it's amazing to me, and I don't know why I keep continuing this conversation along. It's amazing to me. I can ask certain people a question about themselves, and they be like, and they have to think, and I'm like, you haven't asked yourself that question already? Like, most of the stuff you ask about me, it's not gonna take me long to answer, because I've asked myself that question dozens of times.
Right,
so if you're asking me, the only reason that there's hesitation is maybe because I haven't asked myself this question within the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I have to see if anything has changed from the last time I've asked myself that question. So it's just, so what I'm saying is, I see all the time where if a question that I ask you about yourself seems foreign to you, it lets me know that you don't ask yourself on a regular basis, which means you don't self-evaluate, which means you don't have the ability to know who you are, because you don't even know the right type of questions to ask yourself to get to the desired answer of who you desire to be later on in life, or even right now. Anyway,
well, luckily I answered your question right.
I'm muting my last part about that for you, Quinn, is this. I think a lot of people are socialized to only think about their feelings in terms of how other people make them feel. And so it's hard to self-evaluate if you never think about how you make yourself feel. You never think about how you make others feel. It's always about how people make you feel. And a lot of times I talk to people, and it's really the only emotion they process through. It's how do other people make me feel. It's like so many other things you have to think about to really know yourself besides just how people make you feel.
Right. Because that really ain't got nothing to do with you, how other people make you feel. That has nothing to do with you.
You don't know anything about your own insides if that's the only thing you think about is the reaction you have from what other people do.
Well, that's almost like me. I mean, really and truly. Like,
we a me society. I mean, I feel like if you look on social media, it's like, I'm cutting you haters off. Oh,
yeah, I agree.
Nobody know how to be loyal. And I'm like, this what y'all sit around think about all day? But that's our society now. It's all about me. It's all about how I feel.
Instant gratification.
And how I want you to make me feel. And people don't sit around really evaluating themselves and what they can do to make their own lives better.
Right.
Outside of other people.
Right.
Anyway,
and really and truly, it's cliche, and until you make yourself happy, no one's going to make you happy. So you have to be able to, have introspective perspective on you and your functioning, and how far you're willing to go, because if you don't have that, then It's literally just going to be, what can this person do for me? And I don't want that. And I don't want that type of relationship. Like, I say partnership for a reason. Like, fuck a relationship. I want a partnership. You know, relationship was, you can have all kind of relationships. A partnership is something different. And everybody doesn't want that, or everybody's not a partner, you know, and that's something I've definitely learned over the last couple of years. So I still stand on, though, be if you know who you are, be true to who you are. Know what you want. You know, if you know what you want. And it's okay to know what you want. Contrary to what Q said a couple of months ago, it is okay to know some of what you want. You just have to know how flexible you are in certain places. If you're not flexible, you probably ain't gonna make it. You know, you're probably not gonna get what you want. All right, so we're gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna stop talking. Q's muted himself. Tira, I don't know where you went, baby girl, but I sure appreciate you for jumping on today.
I actually been here the whole time.
Hi.
I was trying to talk, and I was like, maybe they can't hear me, so never mind.
No, never heard you. I'm sorry.
Never heard you. I was like,
oh, okay. So you get the closing words.
Up in here.
Right. All right, Tia, you get the closing words. Closing thoughts, closing words.
Loving yourself, you'll find others that love you too. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Loving yourself.
Drop the mic.
Yeah, absolutely. Drop the mic. All right, same time, same place next Tuesday. I'll be out of jail in about an hour and 20 minutes, so I'll be able to post again. But we will be back on Freethinkers properly next Tuesday, 8:05 p.m. If you've got topics you want us to talk about, please send them to us. Join the conversation. Follow us over on our YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see y'all next Tuesday. Thanks for all the love and support. We'll see y'all next week.
Good night.